Welcome to episode 12 of the Golden Man Buzz podcast with Chris, Damon, and Sal. Sal, what's up, my brother?
How's it going, Damon?
The Rams have lost 5 in a row now to drop to 3-8. They lost to Kansas City 26-10 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Perkins made his first start ever. Thoughts?
Yeah. Actually, I mean, you get to a point where you have to be realistic. I mean, when you take everything in, I mean, the Rams' injuries and everything the Rams are going through, I kind of, the main thing is I was just hoping that the Rams would show up, not embarrass themselves, and, play like it still mattered. And the Rams did that. Defensively, they played well. But, offensively, every game there's been a new offensive line combination. It hasn't been a set, so 11 games, 11 different combinations of offensive linemen. But the Rams, they hung in there and they played well, well enough, for the injuries and all. But I think that, I was just proud that they didn't get blown out. I mean, playing in, you look at the score, it looks like, it was a lopsided game. But the Rams were in the game. Just offensively, couldn't score enough points, and I knew that could be a possibility, and it was. So.
And also, what I find, like, I always watch a quarterback-coach combination. So last year, the Rams were going to half with 2 or 3 timeouts left, not even using their timeouts because McVay and Stafford were on the same page.
Yeah.
With the Bryce Perkins, because he doesn't know his first time ever. Jitter, KC crowd, timeout, like delay a game here, timeout, clock's about to run out, timeout, because he's not familiar with live, preseason is totally different than regular season.
Definitely.
So I saw him going to the half. The Rams had no timeouts with 6 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the game in the first half. And, Bryce Perkins did his best. He scrambled around, but I already knew. I was like, man, there's no continuity. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'd run 5 straight, run plays, and just, that was all we had, man.
And I think that's kind of part of the problem because, they said pretty much utilize your skills, which, he has running skills, but eventually you're going to have to pass. When they stop respecting, the passing game and they just all focus on stopping, the runner, then eventually he was going to have to open up the offense. And he did, and they had that one drive that was pretty impressive. But, it takes a while to develop that, cohesiveness that, where the offense is clicking together.
Now, with Matthew Stafford, Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp, today Aaron Donald, possibly out for the year.
Yeah.
Do you play the youngsters the whole year and just let the starters just rest the whole year and come back next year?
That's what I would do. I think that the Rams are going to, have a lot of tough decisions to make at the end of the season. And me personally, I think the best thing to do is just, look at the backups, look at the talent you have now and evaluate, give them, valuable game time, against pretty decent teams and see how they respond. I mean, you already know what you have in these veteran players, but it makes no sense to play them and have them, get beat up or, you pretty much, you never want to shut down, the team. You still want to be competitive and try and win these games, but also you want to see what you have as far as young talent. So I think the Rams are probably moving that direction, and it's kind of exciting. I mean, I'm looking at it that way. I mean, I know that it's been a rough season. I know exactly, what the Rams are going through, and so my expectations, are of course, have to be reasonable. So I kind of thought that they would be going through this, and now that they are, I would rather just see some of the younger players and see what you have. As far as backups in different positions, see what they can do.
Now the Rams are 3-8. Are they out of the playoff picture, Sal? Is it over?
Yes.
You think it's over?
Well, I mean, realistically, and we're running out of options and players every week, And I think now that, there's a point where you have to just, be smart about it. You can't, you have to just look, towards the future, but also be competitive and still look at this young talent. There's a couple of bright spots on the Rams though that I get excited about.
Listen to this. Bring this camera closer for this one. The Rams are technically still in the playoffs. They haven't been mathematically eliminated yet. Yes, they're 3-8. Yes, they're not 5 in a row. But you know what? They're still alive, Sal. They're still alive. Okay.
Oh yeah, I never give up.
Never give up.
I never give up, no matter what the record is. But I think that I mean, it's tough watching them lose, but I still enjoy them.
Yeah, of
I
course.
still enjoy the team. That's my team, so I'll always support the Rams no matter what.
Now, the Rams play the Seahawks with the chance to play spoiler. The Seahawks have lost 2 in a row and are trending downwards. What do you think about this game coming up? The Rams versus Seattle. If Seattle has to win this for to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, they do.
Do you think they make the playoffs?
Seattle?
Yeah.
They're kind of, they're kind of hitting a rough spot, but I think they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the Rams will compete. The Rams will play well, but I think in the end it's really hard, to really compete with a team like that is pretty solid in most positions. The Rams, I mean, the offensive line, it's so hard to develop anything, to get any type of continuity when you don't have your offensive line.
Injuries.
I mean, you have a young quarterback, and so he's just pretty much doing what he can do. But also the receivers, I mean, they don't have any. The timing's off and stuff, so it kind of looks like a preseason game. But it takes time. But I am encouraged by Perkins and some of the things he's been able to do. He's fun to watch. He definitely has swag, and I think that with a little bit more playing time under his belt, by the end of the season, we'll know definitely what we have in Perkins.
Do you think the Rams should go with Perkins or Wolf for the rest of the year?
I would say Perkins, because Wolford, at the end of the year, realistically, I mean, I believe it was a 1-year contract. So at the end of the year, he's probably going to be gone anyway, unless. But sooner or later, you have to make decisions for the future. And I think, getting to see Perkins play now, I think it would be kind of exciting, for fans at least to, know that you have, someone that is waiting in the wings that can be kind of exciting.
That is true. I want to see Perkins just to see what he can bring. I mean, we already know but I want to see with preparation. He had a preparation before, but just to keep on getting in there. It's like 7 games to go. I believe 7 games, or is there 3 and 8? It's probably 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just keep it going. Just see what he can bring, and just probably bring some excitement in. And do you think the Rams have 6 games left? How many of those games do you think they can win?
Of the 6? Well, I hope they could win 6, but I mean, realistically, I think the main thing is just competing. But in all fairness to Perkins, I mean, you could put Joe Montana behind that offensive line, and he's not going to make much difference. You have to have. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to happen for a play to be successful. Yeah. But Perkins, he's not overwhelmed, and that's the thing that's exciting. He, especially going to KC and playing in front of that crowd, and he didn't embarrass himself. He made some nice plays, but eventually, I want to see him throw the ball more. I want to see him put the ball in the air, but yeah, it's so hard. It's like week by week, we lose players every week.
Every week we're losing players, man. It's like.
But I think the good thing is things usually tend to happen in cycles. So maybe we get all our injuries in 1 year, and then next year we get
full strength.
Then the football gods are good to us, and we can come back and start building from that point on.
You know what started this injury thing? The Super Bowl. Odell Beckham gets hurt in the Super Bowl. And remember that? Super Bowl. And then preseason, Logan Bruce, the offensive tackle we drafted, and that started the domino effect. People don't remember that. That started with the Super Bowl, Odell Beckham, on the way to the MVP, hurt against the Bengals. Preseason. Or you can even go before Odell Beckham. Robert Woods technically got hurt, but that wasn't technically 2022 year, but he got hurt. But OBJ, Logan Bruce, bam, 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 bam. Just, man, dominoes.
Injuries destroy any hope or anything of having a winning season. But for the Rams, I mean, nobody could have ever predicted that they would have this many injuries, all in one season. But, I think it's going to make it'll make McVay a better coach. I think he'll probably learn more from this losing season than he has, with success. Success is easy, but now he's going to have to dig deep and really have to be a lot more creative. And the Rams are going to have to make a lot of tough, personnel decisions too, and try and, in preparation for next season.
Now, the Rams are helping this team that we're going to talk about next, the Detroit Lions. They battle, and they're a tough team. They lost to heartbreaking in Thanksgiving 20-25 to the Bills.
Yes.
The Rams keep on losing their picks and go to the Lions, and the Lions may pick in the top 5.
Yeah.
Not that that's going to help the Lions, because the Lions they're not really good at drafting players sometimes. Like in the top 5, they have so many busts sometimes.
Well,
but this one, they may get a good player to take them over the top. Like, are they going to choose a quarterback, defensive tackle, lineman, whatever they need that could take them over the top? Because they play hard. What are they, 4-6 or 5? 4, but they're still in the playoff hunt. But
I think that when people evaluate the Lions, they're thinking of the old Lions.
Yeah.
This is a completely different team. I think with with the new GM and Holmes and also Dan Campbell as coach. This is a different, aggressive, Lions team, and they draft a lot better now. So I think this year, they're going to get a nice pick and be able to build on, But the Lions are legit. I mean, they played a lot of tough games, and that's when you can see when you start turning things around. When you're competing, I mean, they against Buffalo. I mean, the Buffalo Bills, they played really well. It was just a play here, a play there that cost them the game. But with more experience, they'll be able to convert on those types of plays.
The Cowboys beat the Giants 27-20 behind Dak and Zeke. Cowboys looking like on the top.
Cowboys are amazing, but their defense is what's really impressive. I mean, look at the number of sacks that they have. They're on record pace. They're able to do it all.
Michael Parsons is the beast.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, wow. Yeah.
Last year, didn't their player get defensive player there? Was it Diggs?
Yeah.
He got defensive, so they're looking good, man. Them boys, them Cowboys looking good. And,
they are them boys, huh?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like.
Yeah, and it's so hard because for the NFC, I mean, now that the Rams are struggling, I mean, there's certain teams that you would like to see, do well more than others. So, but the NFC is going to really have a good representative, in the Super Bowl this year, whoever it is. But yeah, you got at least 3 teams that are legit.
Yeah. The Browns beat Tom Brady 23-17. The NFC is one of the worst divisions, NFC South. They may have a team in the playoffs with a losing record. I think Brady's 5-6,
yeah,
and then the 4-7. The winner of that division may be 8-9. You know what I'm saying? They say this is the latest Tom Brady has ever been under 500 in his career, but they're like in first place still. So you may go 8-9, you win the division, you still go to the playoffs. So.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the things. It's like when you build a team, you want to win it all, right? You don't want to just win a division. I mean, what does that prove? You win a division, especially if you don't even have a winning season.
But sometimes, like with Tom Brady, if he gets in, everybody's going to be scared of him. I don't care who you think you are. He wins the division. He plays against, because he has one thing about Tom Brady, he has experience. He's been through every situation. Yeah. Once you win the Super Bowl down 28-3, I'm 8-9. Okay, I'm going to go to play this team, San Francisco, and say, okay, I'm going to go play Eagle. I'm going to go play. He has no fear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But other teams are going to be scared and nervous and jittery. He won't be, I don't think.
But I think that's starting to kind of wear off a little bit.
You think so?
I think that Brady magic is starting to. It's kind of like.
Well, against the Rams, it didn't wear off. He helped we
had that game. We had that game. We should have won that game.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda, 3 of the 7 Spurs there is. So.
We should have won that game. But, I mean, I get it. But eventually, you run out of magic. And I think Brady, I don't think people are, teams are fearful of him. I mean, he has experience and same thing. But same thing with Rodgers. I mean, it's starting to they're starting to come back down to earth and be, they're beatable now.
Speaking of Rodgers, he got hurt, rib injury.
Yeah.
Jordan Love comes in first play of the game for a 64-yard touchdown. Them cheeseheads, boy!
Yeah.
Did you watch that game?
I did. It was exciting. It was pretty good. The Eagles are tough to beat.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing is when, the Rams used to be able to score like that. You have to score a lot of points to be really competitive. And, we're nowhere near that. And it happened so quickly. But, the more I think about it, I think the Rams, they still have a lot of opportunities next year. I don't think, depending on what direction they want to go, there's going to be some options for the Rams to be able to turn it around. And being in LA, you have to be relevant. There's no way you can let, that momentum, ever since McVay's taken over the Rams, he's given us good football every season.
Yeah. He's never had a losing record.
No, never. So you can't, it's funny when I hear, I was listening to the Rams post-game show after the Rams lost, and someone called in and said that, the Rams need to, really evaluate their GM and Les Snead. I'm like, we just won a Super Bowl. I mean, McVay's given us great football. Yeah. We've been in 2 Super Bowls since they've been back. I mean, sometimes your emotions get the best of you. You have to step back and kind of be more realistic.
You got injuries, man.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you got to be realistic. It happens to every team. And for the Rams now, at least that game against Kansas City, people said, they ask, are you embarrassed? I said, I'm never embarrassed to be a Rams fan. I'm disappointed, but never embarrassed. That's my team. And if someone told me the Rams would never win another game, I'd still be there every Sunday because that's my team.
Every day I wear my Ram stuff. To this day, To this day, every day I wear my Rams gear.
And
I don't care if they're 3-8, 3-13. Every day I wear my Rams gear proudly.
Yeah, and that's what a true fan has to do. It's never easy, but I always meet the best Ram fans when we're losing.
Yeah.
That's pretty sad, but a reality.
Let's get back to the games. The Jaguars beat the Ravens. Trevor Lawrence had 321 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. What do you think about Lamar Jackson? Do you think the Ravens should pay him? Or I mean, the Ravens play all these close games and it should be 9-2 or 10-1.
Yeah.
And blow fourth quarter
Yeah.
leads left and right. So what do you think about that? Like, do you think they should get paid?
I've never been a big fan of like playing out contracts, but it'll be interesting when the season ends to see what their record's like, and I mean, you got to strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't challenge it. I mean, football is crazy, and at the end of the season, there could be a lot of, you could have, maybe missed a good opportunity to get paid. I think your value would have been a lot more if, sometimes when you got to take the contracts when the money's being offered.
The Raiders beat the Seattle Seahawks yesterday.
Yeah.
The Raiders have now won 2 in a row. 2 in a row, Raider fans.
They have a better record than we do, huh?
Don't say that.
No, that hurts.
I was talking oh my God, I was talking so much. You know what, to Raider fans? Here's an apology to Amon and Mars. Okay, Amon, you got your apology on my podcast for everybody to see. You guys have a better record than us. Okay?
Yeah.
But are you guys going to make the playoffs? Playoffs? He doesn't even have a contract.
Yeah.
The running back, he ran for 86 yards. He went off. He had like 20,
he was
21,
running hard, yeah.
He had an 86-yard overtime touchdown run. But he's not even under contract for next year either. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. There's some players out there that could help the Rams. The Rams just have to be patient and make smart decisions. Sometimes, you prefer to build through the draft, but the Rams are kind of limited out. But, I mean, there'll be some options that the Rams could be respectable really quick.
Our nemesis, the Niners, Sal. They're looking like the 85 Bears with that defense. Man, they're
tough, yeah.
They beat the Saints 13-0, okay? The Saints haven't been shut out in like 21 years. Sal, the Niners is up there. Ooh, what you think?
Yeah, but, the Niners are a great team, but I still there's something missing. There's a weakness on that team, and I think what's going to happen is right now, the Eagles, have the best record. So if you have to go play in Philly or even possibly Minnesota, anything can happen in those games.
But one thing about defense, it travels. Snow, sleet, rains. Offense may not travel in the snow because you can't run or traction, but defense. This team reminds me, I hate to say this, of the 2001 Baltimore Ravens. Ray Lewis and all. They're not good as defensively, but the Ravens had a quarterback named Trent Dilfer. The next year, he won the MVP, but the next year he was traded to another team out the league.
Yeah.
Jimmy G could do that. Like, what's stopping him and all this
But
other
let
stuff?
me ask you this. Are you sold on Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah, I am, because I fear him. As I told you in previous
Right.
podcasts.
Well, we as Ram fans,
I fear him. The Niner fans don't even want him.
Yeah.
But I see something. The team rallies and plays hard around Jimmy G.
They do, but I just have a weird feeling that, he may be the reason they don't go to the Super Bowl. I think right now they're building him up. I mean, I hear Steve Young talking about him, Joe Montana talking about him. And sometimes that's scary. I don't know if he's that guy yet. And so the 49ers defense is legit, no doubt about it, just like Dallas'
They haven't
defense.
given up a touchdown in like how many games, man?
But you have to consider
second half, I should say, second
but
half.
imagine Garoppolo going up against the Cowboys defense. I mean, evaluate that. That's
Well, he did. Okay, that was okay. Defenses last year he beat them.
that was last year, but this Cowboy team is different.
That game, it may be like 6-3. Because I mean defense.
Yeah.
That Niner defense. I'm watching them, and I'm a Rams fanatic. I'm just like, man, this defense. I'm thinking.
Look at the way they're built, right? I mean, the 49ers are such a physical team.
They are very physical.
I
And
mean,
then
I always wanted that. That's what I like. But you can see the Kyle Shanahan. You can see his dad, Mike Shanahan. His fingerprints are all over that type of defense. He knows how important it is to run the football, and that's what the Rams got to do. The Rams got to get back to being physical and establishing a running game that when your pass offense isn't doing it, you got to be able to move the ball. But I'd rather be a physical team. I think you win more games, with a good defense and a good running game.
Their defensive coordinator is DeMarco Ryan. Remember he used to play in the NFL?
Yeah, I
Do you
remember
think he
him,
gets a
yeah.
head coaching look or job or anything with his defense? Or I mean, sometimes it catapults people.
It does, but I think that, I mean, you know, a lot of players make coaches look, you know, better than they really are, I think. And it happens that way, but I like DeMarco Ryans. I remember as a player, you know, for the Texans, he was good. But sometimes, you know, I think a lot of guys, they get, or a lot of people, they get super excited. Usually a defensive coordinator, you should, you know, at least have 2-3 years under your belt with a solid team, you know.
But he's been with them for like, what, 2 or 3 years now? It's his second
About,
year.
yeah, about
He
3.
took over for Robert Sala, I believe. And yeah,
But I think you should have to win a Super Bowl, you know, really be a really different, you know, difference maker.
Speaking of defensive coordinators, does Raheem Morris come back next year?
Raheem Morris.
Let's answer that.
I actually, the Rams, you know, a lot of people always, they get on the Rams about playing off the receivers and stuff, but when you watch a lot of football, a lot of teams do that. It's just when you're losing, you want to pick on everybody. You want to fire the water boy, everybody. I get it, but when you take the emotion out and then kind of evaluate the Rams, it's hard for, you know, when your offense isn't, you know, scoring points consistently, it puts more pressure on the Rams defense. And also there was, just like every game, I mean, that Nick Scott interception yesterday in the end zone, I mean, that was one of the Rams' first turnovers in how many games?
I know, that was crazy.
Right? So there's been times when Jalen Ramsey's had opportunities. You know, there's been fumbles and the ball bounces back in the, you know, the offensive receiver's hand. So there's plays like that. But if your defense can create turnovers, then it takes a lot of, you know, pressure off the Rams offense. So we'll get that next year.
Week 13 games coming up. We got the Bills versus the Patriots. Who you like in that game?
Man. I would go with Patriots.
I got the Bills winning that. The Jets and the Vikings. I got the Vikings. What about yourself?
Just the Vikings, yeah. I'll go with Vikings.
One of the surprises, the Commanders and the Giants. I'll go for the.
I'll go with the
Giants.
Commanders.
You got the Commanders?
I like the Commanders.
I
I like the
Giants.
way they're running the football.
I got the Giants on that. Titans and the Eagles. That's going to be a hard-hitting game.
Yeah, I would say Eagles.
I got the Eagles as well. Dolphins and 49ers. Mike McDaniel goes against his former.
Yeah, he does.
buddy.
Goes up against his team. I would say 49ers.
I got the Dolphins because, you know.
Yeah, I'm going for the Dolphins.
Yeah,
but
you know.
Yeah, 49ers, they look like they're starting to turn it up a little bit. You know, they're starting to feel that they're getting in that stride, you know, to finish out the season.
The Chiefs and the Bengals. The rematch of the AFC
Chiefs.
overtime.
Chiefs are really good.
Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. The best team in the NFL to me are the Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not
That's-
record-wise for the 49ers, because the Eagles have a better record. There's teams that have a better record, but all-around team, the Chiefs and the 49ers are the best teams in the NFL, in my opinion.
Definitely, I agree, and I think that's why yesterday, you know, I mean, it made me proud. I know the Rams season's lost, but being able to see the Rams compete against, you know, the best team in the NFL and at home, it showed the Rams they didn't lay down. So, you know, that's kind of a good indicator that the Rams are still engaged, and I mean, they played their hearts out. So we'll be okay. But the Chiefs are the best team.
And
There's no way to stop them. No way to stop them.
And then the game at the end, I believe it's Raiders and Chargers. I got the Chargers. That's gonna be
Yeah, I
like
would take
that's gonna be like a double overtime, 42-38 game.
Yeah.
5 seconds. Because you know the Chargers
Yeah.
play the weirdest games.
Those
Man.
rivalry, yeah.
They beat the Cardinals, but they play like the
I
weirdest.
can't believe they came back and beat the Cardinals. That's so. Usually the Chargers are on the losing end of those type of games, right? Where they play well and then they lose in the last.
Do you
couple
mind?
minutes.
Do you want the Chargers to make the playoffs as renters? Does it bother you to make the playoffs? You're sitting at home watching SoFi, you see the Chargers on TV. I mean, if they
It
play,
hurts, but I think I really don't. I'm not a Charger fan at all. I never have been, but you know, I'd be happy for Justin Herbert probably and a couple of players on that team.
Yeah. Oh, big shout out to super fan that I met today, Isaiah from I believe he lives in Victorville. I met him. He follows the page and follows us and stuff.
That's
like
a crazy
When I met him, he's like,
story,
wait, I know you look familiar. We started talking. He couldn't believe that he met me. So big shout out to Isaiah. I said I was going to shit him out on the podcast. Also, any Rams super fans out there that want their pictures or anything, send us pictures to the my email, Going Around Buzz Podcast at gmail.com. Send us your pictures, videos. We'll post it on the podcast. Throw it on there. give your shout out on your pages.
Yeah, that would be cool to kind of get to know a little
get
bit
to
more
know the
about
fans
them.
out
I mean, we see them in,
Yeah.
Dressed up, but it's kind of cool. I love that passion, and
Yeah.
we need that more than ever now. Fans that
Um,
are still, engaged and still, working hard, supporting the Rams. So
Big
that's
shout out to
awesome.
La Brea, bakery.com. You guys already know all your bread needs. I eat the bread, the rolls, artisan rolls, baguettes. How do you say it? Baguettes?
Yeah,
All that
baguettes,
stuff, man. LaBreaBakery.com. Big shout out to Supreme Energy Drink. Supreme! With that being said, that is episode 12
yeah.
of the Going Around Buzz podcast with Chris, DeMont, and Sal.
Yeah.
See you at SoFi. Whose house?
Rams house.
Whose house?
Rams house. Get a win.
No.
Let's beat the Seahawks.
What's up, Kelly? For all your tailgate needs, LaBreaBakery.com/tailgating. They will be at the tailgate. Fresh bread. Look them up. They have different locations all around. Whose house? Rams house.